Okay, we're starting. Cool. Okay, we're recording this, so if there's any questions or stuff, just make a note, and then afterwards when we switch everything off, then we can discuss and talk about your questions and what you've got going there. So we're going to talk about burnout. So I've given you a printout of the PowerPoint slides we're doing, but at the back of it you'll see there's also a test. It's a burnout meter. A few questions that you have to ask, and then what they ask you, you fill it out. It works on a numbering or a value system, and that will determine about how close to burnout you are. It sort of measures your stress levels, and you see how far you are with stress and things in your life. So we can do that. We're going to do that at the end. So don't worry about filling out the questionnaire while we're busy. You'll have more than enough time to do this. Okay, so let's start. Okay, what is burnout? Burnout is a state of emotional and physical exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It's just, we sometimes get people that will say, I've burned out. But burnout is really, it's quite serious when it happens to you. It's not just a thing that you take a day or two off and you're better. It's got an impact on your life, and sometimes recovery takes quite a while. I've known of people that went through burnout, and it took them about a year of time to get back to the workforce again after they have went through burnout. So if you go through a time of really excessive stress, a lot of pressure, and then you can get into burnout. As the stress continues, you begin to lose interest and motivation, and so that can be a measure for yourself too. While you're busy, or while you're working, and you're starting to get into this place of burnout, you can see that suddenly you're not really motivated anymore into what you're doing, especially in your work. You're not motivated. You don't really care. Something that you really, really loved. Something that you love to do, like a specific activity that you used to do after hours, suddenly you don't want to do that anymore. You just want to go home. You just want to sit at home. You've got no interest at all. That's signs of burnout. So be careful when you start seeing these things. Burnout reduces your productivity and saps your energy, leaving you feeling increasingly hopeless, powerless, cynical, resentful. You normally see that when a person's really, really stressed out, a high load of stress on them, they go through all these things, and suddenly they get into a place where they just find fault with everything. Don't care about what's happening around them, don't feel innovative, very, as it says, you feel hopeless, you feel powerless, you're resentful. Nothing excites you anymore, nothing makes you happy. You just exist. The unhappiness of burnout causes there's a threat on your job, your relationships, and your health. With your job is you don't want to do that anymore. People going through burnout will have a lot of days sick, don't show up for work, show up late. That sort of things happening with in your workplace relationships. You don't care about your relationships at all. You don't communicate. If you are, especially in a marriage, suddenly communication is cut off. A person going through burnout don't really talk to their spouse anymore, talk to their kids anymore. They just want to be alone. It almost looks like someone that's got depression, but it's almost more severe than depression, because it's really like they lose their whole sense of being actually in this whole process of being totally burned out. So the danger is, it's a high danger for guys in the helping professions like us. It says here 40 to 50% of counselors, pastors, social workers, psychologists, mental health workers, and chaplains are at risk of burnout. So in the profession that we're in, that's really, we're in the high risk area of getting burnout, especially with the amount of clients or the different clients we have and what we work with. So we can really get into this place of burnout. So risk factors is, first of all, personal history of trauma. In your own life, if you went through trauma, it helps to actually push you over the edge to burnout. Some of the top 3 traumas, we've discussed trauma before in workshops. The top 3 traumas is, trauma number 1 would be the death of a loved one. That's the number 1 trauma that you go through. The second trauma that you can go through is divorce. And the third highest trauma is moving house. So those 3 things are our top traumas that people go through. We think that moving house is just, it's not that serious, but it is rated as a top trauma. So we've got a personal history of trauma in our life. Our valuing, we're starting to become like, we don't really express anything. Stoicism is like, I'm going through this motions, I'm suffering, but I don't talk about that anymore. I'm just take it on. No one knows what I'm going through. I just go with the emotions of suffering. Our coping style doesn't include expressing our feelings. That's quite a big one for me. We don't talk about our feelings. We don't tell people how we feel. We just keep it quiet. We keep it in ourselves. That's why they say one of the highest death among men is suicide. Because men don't talk, and when we can't handle it anymore, we commit suicide. So that's a high thing for especially men. We don't ask for help. A lot of our people, especially in the caring professions, we don't ask help. We're supposed to be in control. You're supposed to help everyone. You're supposed to be there for everyone. So we're not asking anyone anything. Even if you can't cope, it's like, no one must know I can't cope. I must just go with this. So that causes you to get to burnout. Then also, if you've got issues, you're holding a lot of issues, grudges, and you don't forgive people. So going through a bad situation, you've got this against someone else, you just keep that you've got grudges against people, especially in the workplace. Those sort of things work, they add to your trauma or to your chance of getting to the level of burnout. And then external circumstances that are difficult, like if you've got going through a bad situation at home, or family members are going through a bad situation, you've got an issue with your children, those things adding to your work stress, or adding to also your life stress and the trauma that you had before, can cause you to get to this level of burnout. So you feel unprepared for your role, especially when you work with people. You've got a very difficult client, or a client that's going through a really difficult situation in life, and you're not really prepared, you don't really know how to deal with this client. That sort of issues can also help you to get to the burnout level. Absent, hostile, indifferent supervision, when you and your supervisor don't get along. And this is supervisor at work, but also we talk about, especially in the counselling profession, we have a clinical supervisor, which is a person that you actually appoint and pay to supervise your counselling work. So if you don't get along with these people and you keep on clashing, that adds also to your stress. Our clientele, some people have really, really difficult clientele they work with. Some people choose to work with people that's been in abused situations, or children that was abused, so those sort of clientele adds to your levels. So look at the clientele that you work with. If you're a person that really struggles to switch off, and you get really influenced by bad situations, don't go and work with those people. Choose not to counsel in that areas. If you're a counsellor, if you're a social worker, also choose your areas. Protect yourself in this helping profession. You overwork. Also, it says faulty beliefs in the helping role. So, your belief system of what you must do as a helper. Some people just go beyond what they're supposed to do, take on too much, trying to help, trying to solve the issue for them, trying to be there, to provide. Every crisis they come up, this person trying to solve. That's not totally your role. Part of our role is to connect people with other helping institutions and people that can help. We're not there to just keep on helping and supplying all their needs. We're sort of helping them, we're talking to them, and we connect them. So make sure that you've got a whole list of people, that you've got a network of people that you know, that you work with also in which you can connect your clients with. And then if you don't have a partner or family that support you, that's also quite an issue. If you're going through this alone and you go home and you don't have a sounding board, someone to just listen to what you're saying or just be there for you and support you in what you do, that can also cause a bit of stress and anxiety. Symptoms. So you'll see some of these symptoms are very close to someone that's got depression. There is a link between the two. So emotional exhaustion, you're just always tired. No matter how much you sleep, you'll have a 8 or 10 hours sleep and you'll wake up and you'll also already be tired. You're just always tired. Lack of positive feelings, you don't feel positive about anything. It will be raining and you'll complain about the rain, and the sun will come out and you'll complain because the next drought just started, and there's nothing positive about life. It's just everything is just, you can't wait for the day to pass. You can't wait for the end of the year, and you can't wait for anything. It's just you don't live in the moment. Fatigue, frustration, apathy, psychosomatic illnesses. These days, 80% of diseases are actually psychosomatic, stress-related. It's all depression, mental issues, stuff like that. We're carrying all these things these days. Listlessness, emotionally overextended, depersonalization, unfeeling reactions to clients. You start to feel like you feel nothing for your clients anymore. So they come with issues, you're like, okay, you listen to them, but you don't feel, there's no more empathy, there's no more those feelings of, I really care. You know, the warm, fuzzy feelings, they don't exist anymore for you. It's like you're just going through the motions. Lack of personal accomplishment, you don't see anything good in anything that you do anymore. It's just, nothing is good. Anxiety, you're just emotionally worn down. Disillusionment, cynicism, just going through stuff. Life's not great anymore. Like you wake up in the morning and see no purpose. Okay, the 4 stages is physical, mental, emotional exhaustion. So that's one of the first signs normally for this is you're just physical, emotional, you're exhausted. You can't cope anymore, you can't do anymore, you're just done. Okay? Shame and doubt in yourself. You doubt yourself, you doubt your own abilities. You feel ashamed in the work that you do. I'm not good enough, I'm not there for my clients enough, I'm not providing enough, I'm not giving them solutions, I'm not there. So you've got shame in what you do. You don't believe in yourself, you think you're a total failure. Cynicism, callousness, they become hard. There's no soft side anymore. It's like your clients come with their issues and things and you don't really care. And then failure, helplessness, crisis, your life's in a crisis. Everything is a crisis. You don't see anything, any solution to any issue you're going through personally. prevent this, or what can we do? First of all, especially if you're in a caring profession, is acknowledge that you work in a potentially hazardous profession. Acknowledge that this can happen. Acknowledge that when you work with people, especially in this profession we're in, that you can get to a state of burnout. Understand global strategies and apply them to your situation. Global strategies. How do we relax? What do? You make use of your clinical supervisor. You relax. You do mental exercises. The new buzzword especially in counseling areas is mindfulness. Therapy came out of mindfulness without meditation. So there's lots of these things happening, and we in this profession need to take them on board and use them. Use them to protect ourselves. Be self-aware. Take responsibility for yourself. Be self-aware what's happening in you. Be aware of the fact that you're getting tired. Be aware of the fact that you can't cope. Be aware of the fact that you get anxious. Be aware of things that's happening in you. Don't just let it happen. Sort of take note what's happening in you. Be aware of self. Emphasize the human element. Know that you're a human. I mean, you do make mistakes. You don't have to do everything perfect. You don't have to be there for everyone the whole time. Okay? Seek personal therapy. If you can't cope, go and see a counselor. Especially if you're a counselor, you sometimes don't want to go and see a counselor. But go and see a counselor, and also don't go and see a counselor and judge the counselor on their techniques, because you know better. Okay, we do that a lot of times. I personally did it before. I went to a counselor. It's like, I know what you're doing. It's like, I don't think that's going to work for me. Trust the person, the man or woman you're seeing. Trust that they know what they're doing, and just go with the flow. Go with their therapy. Because for that moment, you're not the counselor. You're not the care worker. You are you. Live a life of balance. Not only work. Whatever makes you relax. Do some sport if you like sport. If you like walks on the beach, do them. If you just like to watch a movie from time to time, do that. Just get sort of in tune with yourself too. Also read. Don't always read academic books. Sometimes read a silly book. Read something just to relax. I've got a person who I see as a mentor is his name is Peter Janetsky. He's one of the greatest counselors I know in Brisbane. He's got a bedtime routine. Every night before he goes to bed, he plays Candy Crush for 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. He says he doesn't do more than 10, otherwise he'll just keep on going. So he's got a time limit for himself. He goes to bed, plays Candy Crush. His body knows this is now my turning off time. So he plays that for 10 minutes and then go to bed. Get a bedtime routine. Stuff you do every night before you go to bed. That your body gets used to this whole switching off thing. Because most of us just watch TV and jump in bed. Our brains don't get a chance to actually switch off. Especially if you watch a horror movie. You go to bed and for the next hour you still think about what's happening. Do something else to just switch off. Just get the balance back in your life. Okay. Avoid self-blame and perfectionism. Admit that you're not perfect. Sometimes you have to just realize that you're close to perfect, but you're not totally perfect. And you don't always have to do everything perfect. So sometimes just relax a bit. Also relax on yourself. What I sometimes tell my clients is when they come in is just don't be so hard on yourself. I mean, just know that sometimes you will make mistakes. You don't always have to be there for everyone. Diversity, do things a bit different. Make your life a bit different. Most of our lives are just wake up in the morning, go to work, go home, watch TV, get to bed, sleep. Next morning, go to work. Same story, day by day by day. I mean, next morning, just get up on the other side of the bed. Just do something different. Drive a different route to work. Just get a bit of diversity in your life. All right. Keep learning and growing. Recognize the fact that you don't know everything yet, and see what other people are doing. Talk to people. Grow. If there's another field, something else you might be interested in, start learning about that too. Never lose touch with rewards. Always know that there's rewards in what we do. I mean, even getting more knowledge, you reward yourself too for doing stuff. And a healthy dose of humility. Just learn to be humble. You know? Okay, now, I want you to take about 10 minutes now to do that stress test. We talked a bit about burnout now, showed you some of the stuff. Now, just tick all the boxes there. You have to just read the question on top, where it says, it will explain the scale, and then just write the number. If it's like a 1 for you, just write the 1. If it's a 5, write a 5. And if you on the next page, it will show you then how to add them up, divide them in different columns, and one will show you how much stress you have in life. One will show you how much, how close to burnout you are. So just do that test for a moment, and then we'll discuss that. I'll be around to, if there's somewhere on that test you get stuck, to just quickly go through that.